I wanted to show you how to use the spiralizer to make this new recipe called the Spiralized Veggie Nests with baked eggs and harissa mushrooms. Going a little bit fancy today. So we'll just get started. I've already got my veggies, so I'll skip those steps. So it's wanting me to insert the cutter. So we put the drive shaft in just on top of the blades, and then our basket goes in. And for this recipe, we're wanting thin spiralized like zoodle style. So I'm using the green cutter blade, Spiralizer blade, um, putting that in. Now the the blade part is to the front of the Thermomix. We sit that on top, and then we put our lid on. Just make sure, I don't know how to explain it to you. Make sure these two pieces here that are sticking up go within the feeder tube, basically, which it should naturally do it. But if you're feeling like it's not going on easily like that, that's probably what's happened. And then on our pusher, we've got these pieces that you attach your veggies to. So the first one it wants us to do is the zucchini. Now I've left the end on of my zucchini because when we spiralize, it does have it keeps a little bit of the end. So you might as well use the end of your veggies instead of trimming that off. But just put that on as best you can. And I'll turn on the spiralizer. Ah, I think it just detached, but we'll see what happens. It doesn't matter if it does. If it detached, yes, it did. The only thing we need to do now is we have to take this off. I'll show you what it is. So very cool. And while I'm here, I might as well show you the zoodles. Very cool. So put that back on because we want to do another zucchini. And I'll see if it will stay. Actually, I have two more zucchinis. We'll see if it'll stay. It doesn't matter if it doesn't though. It just means you need to take it off. See how quickly it glides down. And I'm not pushing very hard, by the way. I'm just guiding it down. Yeah, that one came off too. So just need to pull that out. You're left with the centerpiece. Getting lots of noodles in here. It's very cool. Um, yeah, last time I did this, it stayed detached every time. So who knows? Yeah, so then we're going to put our zucchini into a bowl and set it aside. And we're going to do the same thing with our sweet potato. Very cool. Show you what we have here. A whole bowl of, with three zucchinis. You can see how many zoodles we get. And I am going to just carry on with the sweet potato. It's a little bit thicker, so I'll see if it'll work. Sometimes if it's too thick, it won't go through. Anyway, it's going through, but my pusher was at an awkward angle because my sweet potato was kept. But that's okay. That is not a problem. Sweet potato noodles. So now this leftover end piece, you could put in stock or soup or into like a pasta sauce or whatever. You don't need to waste the ends of the veggies. And I've got one more I want to do. Don't know which way I want to do this one. Oh, okay. So this one is what I was saying earlier. My lid mustn't be where it should be. Yeah, it's not. So just the lid won't go, it won't work if it's not set up right, which is the good news, basically. Yeah, that's better. Um, yeah, basically I had the lid just to the side of where I wanted it to be. Yeah, a bit of a mess here. Okay, so we're going to put that with the zucchini. Oh, that one stayed in. So I could have carried on without opening it. If this stays in, then it's not blocking the blade, so you can keep going with more veggies. But if it comes off this one, you need to take it apart. But yeah, you get what I mean. Okay, all of our zoodles. I don't want this middle piece. Need to take the noodles off it. It's very cute. So we have a whole heap of sweet potato noodles, all spiralized using the thin spiralizer. So the way I remember to use the thin one is the green one is that usually what I would do with um, my green blade is make zoodle. So green for zucchini. That's how I remember to use the green one. The black one is a thicker tornado style, like tagliatelle veggies or tornado potatoes. So that's the black one, but the green one I do zoodles, and I've also been doing a lot of cucumbers to go in salads and things like that. So that's how I'm remembering which piece I want to use. Now, the thing to remember after you've been using your cutter is to always take out that drive shaft when you're done. Do not forget and leave it in there because you might blend it in your next recipe. So yes, take that out. And your bowl is clean and dry, ready to go. I just had a tiny little bit of sweet potato. You can't see it. Tiny little bit of sweet potato that fell in there. So we want to salt this quite well. It says half a teaspoon of salt, so I'm just kind of sprinkling a bunch in. My shaker is pretty good. And give it a mix. We're going to be making nests with these veggies, so it's going to be very interesting. Take that piece out. It's very cool texture. My kids have been enjoying having spiralized veggies, and my husband and me, actually. We all do. So we've been enjoying the different texture of either in salads or just lightly steamed spiraled veggies. It's like quite cool. Okay, that will be good. So we set that aside and we carry on with the recipe. Oh, actually, we need to set it aside for 10 minutes. So we'll be back. So I waited 10 minutes while the veggies were salted. Now, what I've done is just covered with cold water and it wants me to swirl around. We're going to remove the salt. So, um, this is like similar to how you like eggplant in salt water and then rinse it off. It's like just helps it cook nicer. So I am going to drain this, and I just use my Varoma as a strainer. I don't once when I got my Thermomix, I decluttered lots of other things in my kitchen, and some things you don't need anymore because the Thermomix takes space. Well, the strainer or a colander is one of those things. So I just use my Varoma pot, and I'm going to run some more cold water. Sorry, my sink is over here. Over it just to really rinse out and get all the salt off the veggies now. So that's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to want to drain it. Now I have to be honest and say I've been using my Spiralizer a lot, a bit. It's still new, but I haven't made this particular recipe yet. So we're learning together. I'm just going to squeeze out the liquid. Um, but that's cool because it'll either work or you can learn from my mistakes. I always find that recipes that are all in the Thermomix work fabulously. Sometimes the ones that need human input, I'm not always the best at, but we'll see how I go creating these nests. You can at least laugh at me if it doesn't work. Okay, so yeah, it just says remove salt, squeeze gently to drain excess water. I'm just squeezing. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now I want to make the nest and I've put some baking paper. Oh wait, sorry, I want oil as well. Make sure I've got all that water out. Pretty good. Feels all right. Anyway, so 2 teaspoons of oil. I'm just kind of drizzling on whatever I think, and I'll mix that around. And I'm going to make 4 nests. I might see if I can try and get five because I've got five people home that might want to try this, but I'll see how I go. Um, yeah, okay. So I've mixed the oil through. Good. Yeah, and I've preheated the oven to 200. Get rid of that bowl. So let's see how I go shaping these nests. Um, yeah, after I make them, sometimes after you spiralize, this is something to tell you guys, it's really long. You might need to break in a few places. Otherwise, your spirals are so long. Like a cucumber can be a few meters, for example. Yeah, so I'm just going to break apart a few pieces. It's not like it has to have the hole in it because after it bakes, we're going to do that. So it's more just like a clump around. If you want to be really specific about it, you could spiral your veggies back around like that. It's not important, like it doesn't matter if you do that or not. So yes, I think my tray will only fit four of these nests, but I've got a lot of mixture, so maybe I need to make them bigger. I can get two trays maybe. I'm just literally just placing mounds on. I'm not doing anything fancy here. And I've seen two different photos of these, and one of them is where they look perfect nests. Another one is completely rustic. Mine will be the rustic style. That's my style of cooking in general. Always to be rustic. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get six little ones on this tray. Okay. So there are lots of other spiralizer recipes on Cookie Do. If you just type in the word spiralizer into the Cookie Do search bar, you'll see a bunch of recipes. They're all beautiful. There's a delicious salad I've been making to death, and thankfully my family love it as much as I do. Um, by Adam Lior, chef, and it's just got the most delicious dressing, and the texture of all the spiralized, just raw spiralized veggies in the salad with this dressing is really good. So I recommend giving that one a go as well. Here are my nests. As you can see, super rustic. If you wanted to spend extra time making them look prettier, go for it. I always feel pressure to be as quick as I can on YouTube or on videos and classes because I don't want to bore you all watching me do this. Yeah, I'm going to put this in the oven for 10 minutes. While that is in the oven, we're going to make the next element of the recipe, which is the mushrooms that are going to be on the side. So I'm putting in some onion, just like a small amount. It only wants 80 grams. Sorry, I don't want the lid yet because I also want to add this basil, grown in my own garden. I'm so proud. You could use other herbs though as well. You could use oregano or parsley, whatever you have. But basil is obviously a delicious flavor. That's going to chop for 3 seconds. With that, we scrape down the bowl and we're going to add some sliced mushrooms. So 100 grams of mushrooms, and I will scrape down that bowl. Oh, the basil smells so good. And a little bit of oil, 10 grams. Handy that the scales come up. Okay. Then now the recipe calls for harissa. And I like harissa, but I don't have it right now. But I want to show you that you can use sriracha. So um, it says it's subjective. So half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. I'm going more on the half teaspoon side. And now harissa is a sauce that's got like chili, garlic, and some spices, and it's kind of a smoky flavor, whereas sriracha is a bit sweeter. So just for my own benefit, I'm also adding some smoked paprika. You could also add a bit of cumin if you wanted to. I'm going to use that instead of my fingers are wet. So I'm just doing a little pinch. And this is like totally subjective. Put whatever flavors you want in with your mushrooms. So yeah. And we are going to cook that with the simmer basket on because anytime you're cooking above 95 degrees, you want your simmer basket on. This cooks for 8 minutes at 120 degrees on slow speed, soft speed, sorry. And so that should be done around the same time as your nest. I'll show you when it's ready. Okay, yeah. I have just taken these out of the oven so I can show you. They're just like cooking nicely. We're only halfway done. So what we're going to do now is create a little hole in the center to crack our eggs into. And so it's still soft. Um, it's still soft enough. It smells so good. Just those baked veggies. So I'm just using like a soup spoon. Oh, and our mushies are done. Nice. Um, I'm gonna have to show you what I'm doing here. I'm literally just creating a hole. It's nothing difficult. Uh, okay. But as long as I'm doing it right, it's nothing difficult. Okay. Because I still want to keep the whole circle, but just a hole in the middle. So I've just literally, I don't know if you can even tell. Yeah, hopefully you can. And I'm going to crack eggs in. No. Sorry, I just remembered something. Okay, so I'm cracking eggs in the center and I only got out 5 eggs because the sixth person of our family isn't home. And I thought I'd do that one later. So it's like half cooked right now, but that means I'm going to have to take it off the tray. So that's sort of silly. I won't do that. I'll just bake it. Looking good. Okay, wash my hands. Okay, so yes, I cracked the eggs in and now I'm going to carefully walk it to the oven. And this needs to bake for another 10 minutes. Sorry, I just remembered actually before I put it in the oven, I need to salt and pepper each one. And also, if for those who want it, some chili flakes. So I'm going to do chili flakes on half of them because the other half don't like chili. And it's the same half who don't like mushrooms. So I was able to put the harissa in. So all good. It's going to be yummy for me and those of us who like mushrooms and chili. Okay, going in the oven. Now here they are out of the oven. So you can see. Remember, I didn't put an egg in one. So I'm going to show you now what it looks like plated up. I'll just grab a random one. I'm so excited about this. I think they look really good, actually. So there's our veggie egg nest and with the mushrooms as well. They've been sitting there ready. We'll just put some of those on the side. Oh, and the onion. How good does that look? Actually, I think I want a bit more. Okay, and then if you want to, garnish with a bit of basil. I've got grabbed some more basil out of my garden. And there we have it. Hopefully you can see how beautiful that is. Now I'm just going to cut in so you can see. Looks so good. Yeah, the yolk is still really nicely liquidy in there. So if you wanted it cooked longer, if you like it cooked harder, just keep it in the oven longer. But that's how I would like it. That looks delicious. And I'm very excited to have a taste. But yeah, hope you enjoy and thanks for cooking with us.